So I'm going to be talking about some of the book series that I'll probably be getting to, or try at least to get to in 2026. There are a whole bunch. I've got rereads, I've got current book series I'm in the middle of, and I've got a few new ones that potentially I could be starting, but obviously no promises there. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and tell us what you think in the comments, and also consider becoming a Patreon. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of book series I've got to get to. I'm going to start off with the rereads first, and I think to my left you can see His Dark Materials. Where is it? Right there, the trilogy by Philip Pullman. I read this initially as a kid and I loved them. I remember sitting in Ilford Library, just flying through Northern Lights and reading the subsequent books. I remember reading all of them. I adored them, and I haven't read them since I was a kid. And so I think I watched the TV show that came out recently, minus the last series. I just couldn't really be asked, but I that really kind of got me in the mood to read them again, and I realized I hadn't read them since I was a kid. And so when I was doing my charity shop crawls, I literally, they are very, obviously they're wide, they're popular as hell. They sold millions, right? So they're widely available in charity shops. So when I'd go and I see them, I just pick them up, and I want to really, really get to it. I do have a series, I do have a playlist called Rereading as an Adult, and it is just me rereading the books I read as a kid, as a teenager, now that I am all grown up. And I'm really liking it. Again, some of my favorites still hold up to this day. Some of them are timeless, of course, the Harry Potters and of this world. So this is going to be part of that series as well, and I'll be doing book reviews for that too. The second sort of reread slash incomplete current series I'm in the middle of is the 100. I actually read the original. I read the first three books only maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and the first book was a 4.5 star read for me, but then it slowly just crescendoed downwards, and then I hated the third book so much that I just didn't read the fourth book. But these are such easy reads, and I really want to complete the series, and I've only just got that feeling in the past few months. So I'm gonna complete the 100 series. I'm contemplating just starting from book one again, but we'll see. I still haven't sort of made up my mind regarding that. I have so many. I have literally like 1,100 books on my TBR, and this year currently I read 104 books this year. But I know this year is an anomaly because I have all the time in the world, and I've dedicated it to reading. And again, reading is my main source of sort of education and entertainment at the same time. So I spend like probably about 4 hours a day just reading the four books I read at a time. I dedicate 1 hour to each. And so even if I do maintain 100 books a year, it's going to take me a decade at this point to get through my TBR if it stays stagnant. And we all know TBRs never stay stagnant. So when it comes to that rereading the 100 again, even though I read it so recently, I'm sort of on the fence about it. I did it for Harry Potter, because Harry Potter, I read it in 2020, then again last year in 2024. So I might have to just, do it for the 100 as well, but we'll see. Speaking of another book that it will be a reread, would be the Millenium series by Stieg Larsson. The original trilogy I read as a teenager, loved it. I read The Girl with the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo last year, 5-star read, one of my favorite books ever. 100% holds up. It is epic. I'm actually currently about 40% of the way through The Girl Who Played with Fire. Again, I'm loving it. It's fantastic. The reason why it's so late in the year is that I've read so many banging books. Like The Girl Who Played with Fire was actually, I put that on my 2025 to read video. And I just did not get around to it until, I know it's November now that I'm recording it, end of November. And I didn't get around to it until now, and I had to kind of force myself, because with the 100+ books I read this year, a lot of them were random charity shop pickups that ended up being some of my favorites. And then I just kept pushing back stuff that was on that video. So it is what it is. So I think the third book in that trilogy, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, I probably will read in 2026. And then I've got the other the rest of the series that isn't done by Stieg Larsson, it's done by another author who picked it up after Larsson's death. And again, those are widely available in charity shops as well. I guess the whole series is, is extremely popular for good reason. And so you might be able to see them behind me. So I'll get to that also. But I want to really focus on the original trilogy because that's part of my rereading as an adult series. The rest of it is just sort of going to be sort of just current reading. So that's that for the rereads. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's good. On to the current sort of series I'm in the middle of. This first one, as always, with everyone who's a fan of George R. R. Martin, has the craziest asterisks beside it. A Song of Ice and Fire. I've got the series up there. I actually do need to reread them, but to be honest, I don't think I'm even going to start until there's like actual motion regarding the subsequent books that are to follow. But again, obviously, A Song of Ice and Fire, will put that to the side for that time being. Second current one is Empire of the Wolf by Richard Swan. Again, I reading The Justice of Kings was actually on my to-do list for 2025. I got to it. 2.5-star read. There was potential there. I did like, the basic structures of things, but I didn't find it any like mind blown or anything like that. And I was actually going to stop. But again, with me, and this relates to the 100, when I stop and I just don't care about a series, it will still sort of just grind at me at the back of my head. It will still just eat away at me. And then I saw all the good reviews for the rest of the trilogy, and I was like, you know what? Let me buy the other 2 books and I'll finish them. But I may get to the second book. I think it's The Tyranny of Faith. Yep, The Tyranny of Faith. I might get to that this year. But even if I do, I'll probably end up finishing it in early 2026. Or if not, I'll just read it in 2026 alongside the last book. But that's that. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Again, this is Here's the thing about Red Rising. I finished reading Dark Age a few weeks ago. It is the worst book in the series. I gave it, I think, 2.5 stars or 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars, I think. I really, really didn't like it. Red Rising's original trilogy, so Red Rising, Golden Sun, Morning Star, I gave 4.5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. And by the end of Morning Star, I was contemplating if this was going to overtake Harry Potter as my favorite series of all time. It definitely was my second at the time, and I was seriously contemplating if it was going to take over Harry Potter. But the second part of the series has not been good so far for me. Like, I mean, it's been good technically. It's not like 2 stars or 1-star reads, but I expected them to be 5-star reads, and they're just not. Even though I do like what's going on, and again, I'm invested. I'm going to finish the series. I think the last book, Red God, comes out in 2026. So I've got to read Lightbringer before then. And I probably will read Red God if the paperback comes out immediately. Otherwise, I'll just wait for the paperback. I hate hardbacks. But I gave Iron Gold, the 4th book in the series, 4 stars. And then I gave, obviously, Dark Age 3 stars. And again, the second half of this series just isn't good. And the continuation, there's just so many things missing from it. But again, I love it at the same time, but I think its status as my second favorite series of all time that could challenge Harry Potter is definitely gone. Its status as my second favorite series is definitely up for grabs. And there's a series I'll talk about later that potentially could take it. I mean, there's a few on this that could take it, realistically, but yeah, I mean, the Millenium could take it. Well, yeah, Red Rising, I'm on the 6th book, but I don't know when I'll get to it. Another current series is the Illborn Saga by Daniel T. Jackson. This is one of my favorite series of all time. The first book, Illborn, I gave 4 stars. I read earlier this year. And then the second book, Ordel's Sin, I gave 5 stars. And that's what really took. I loved that book so much. So Gatebound, I've got it. I'm going to read it next year. And I think the fourth and final book will probably end up coming out in 2027. I think Daniel T. Jackson takes about 2 years or so usually to get through these. And I think Gatebound came out earlier this year, like early 2025, like the first quarter, I think. So I guess 2027 will be for the last book. But again, great series. I'm loving that. That potentially could be number 2. Who knows? We'll see. Obviously, there's got to be some sort of Brandon Sanderson on this list. And we got the Stormlight Archive. I read The Way of Kings earlier this year. I gave it 3 stars or 2.5 stars. It was fairly good. It's too long. It has its flaws. It dragged down my reading because I wasn't really engaged with the story. But I ended up liking the characters. The Sander launch is the best Sander launch I've read so far. From his, it was great, and that's what really convinced me to be like, okay, let me continue on with the series and see what's up. So we'll see how Stormlight Archive goes. Next up, and just behind me to my left-hand side, the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. I read the first book, The Grace of Kings, gave that 4 stars. It was an unorthodox book. I'm really sort of anticipating what the other books are going to be like, because I know they're in a more traditional sort of story format. So we'll see how that is. The only negative with this is that I have the whole series behind me. I bought them as soon as, as I was going through The Grace of Kings. I was like, okay, let me get the rest of the series. But I don't have a burning desire to get to the other books. Maybe because they're so big as well. But I don't know, for some reason I just don't have a great burning desire to get to it. But I will get to it, of course. And another sort of series from my current one, the last one I'll talk about, is The Darkest Minds Above Me. And this is by Alexandra Bakker. And this is like YA fantasy. I read the original trilogy years ago. Again, this potentially, even though it's on my currents section, it could be part of my reread section, because I picked up the 4th book in this random charity shop in East London, and then I was like, it was like 80p, and I didn't actually plan on reading the 4th book. And I was like, you know what? Let me just get it, see what's up. And so I will get to that, hopefully. Again, I have less of a desire to get to this than I do the Dandelion Dynasty, which is quite something. I think I need to get to a stage where I'm sort of rereading The Darkest Minds, and then I'll end up getting to the last book in the series, but we'll see. Now, quickly, onto potential new ones. Again, I said I have 1,100 books on my TBR. These are just some of the series of books I have as well. That's an important distinction. Physical books I have behind me, some that you can see, of series I need to get to. The first one being The Prince of Nothing. I have the first book and the 3rd book. I don't know why I did that. I need to get the 2nd book, but I have that. I will get to that. I've heard so many good things about it. Next up, Sun Eater. Again, this Sun Eater and Red Rising seem to be the 2 premier modern space opera science fiction series, alongside, I guess, Leviathan Wakes, The Expanse. And I do have that as well, The Expanse. I don't know. I guess those are the 3, maybe. Sun Eater, yeah, I've got, what's it called? The Empire of Silence right here. I will get to it. Not sure when, but I definitely will. Another series, I have the Lightbringer. I will also get to that. The First Law trilogy is actually, this bookshelf behind me is actually the super in-depth ones where you can put two rows of books. So it's like behind the front row. I have The Blade Itself, the first one. I got that super cheap as well, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Hierarchy, The Will of the Many, book 1 I do have. I know book 2 just came out. So I'll get to that. I've been waiting to get that at a great price, and I finally did. The Forgetting Moon, that's above me. Was like, you know what, let me just get this. I really want to read it. We'll see how that goes also. The Neuromancer series, I've got the whole series. I will start on Neuromancer again. I don't have a burning desire to start Neuromancer, even though I really want to read Neuromancer. Like it's so strange. The Burning, I have The Rage of Dragon above me, somewhere around here. Again, not a burning desire to get to it, even though I got it. But I will get to it. And then last, I want to talk about the Culture series by Ian Banks. I have 3 of the books, and I just don't know why I'm not reading them. I'm buying them, but not reading them, which is because I'm reading other stuff, which is great. But you know, I need to get to this. Also, let me actually add to this. Recently, I've got this thing right here, the Sleepless. Let me tell you guys about this. The Sleepless by Nancy Kress is a Hugo and Nebula award winning series. Beggars in Spain, you might have heard of it. I've just finished this 4-star book. Really like this book. And then I literally just got this delivered to me. Beggars and Choosers. This is book 2 in the trilogy. Really looking forward to reading this. I'm actually going to start on this in the next few days. So again, so I'm talking about new currently, but back to the current. I didn't know when I was adding this to my TBR that this was a trilogy. I've on my TBR, because I do differentiate between series and non-series, and also books that come in multiple editions, you know, like vintage classics, Oxford World Classics, Penguin Classics, Modern Classics, etc. And so I thought this was a standalone. And then when I got into Goodreads and saw that, I saw Sleepless #1, I was like, oh damn. But this is a really good book, and I actually cannot wait to get into this. The third book, I forgot what it's called, but yeah, not widely available, but we'll see. But yeah, this is another good one. So yeah. Anyway, in terms of like, I guess, potential, when I say new series, it's really potential series, because, you know, things happen. But yeah, that's sort of the rough series guide for 2026. I will have a sort of individual books I want to read in 2026 video coming out. If it's probably out by the time you're actually watching this. So yeah, check that out, because there'll be a whole bunch of just epic stuff on there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, consider becoming a Patreon too. Thank you very much.